If you're from outside of Hamilton, you're probably shocked because you're going to see some of the existing properties and you'll be like, why would people do that? And it's because it's within walking distance to all this great stuff, right? It's like 5 minutes away from downtown. What's going on, everyone? So I was going over the different areas I wanted to cover in Hamilton, and I just couldn't miss this specific area. I've talked about it a lot. If you know me and we've spoken before, I always tell people to look out for this area, and that's the north end of Hamilton, because I think that this area holds the key to transforming Hamilton. And if you're someone who's already invested there or is going to be investing there, you actually have a legitimate reason to believe in appreciation and not just speculation, because this area is due for massive change. There's multiple developments proposed. There's a lot of stuff happening just right outside of the area, and just where it's located on the waterfront, it just has a lot of value. So I'm going to show you some footage from the area as well. You'll kind of see what it looks like and what it has to offer. But very high level, this area is located on the north end of Hamilton, right by the water, very close to the highway. When you're driving through the QEW, you're often seeing that part of Hamilton across the water, but there's a lot of factories. This area is actually visible from there too, but it's not really built up. There's not any towers there or anything like that yet. But I think that that's the exact reason why this area is so important. So there's been multiple developments. A more prominent development there is the Pier development, which you've probably heard of if you've been looking into investing in Hamilton or you are invested in Hamilton. And that's going to be just a large development with multiple residential units, mixed use, and commercial units, and they're trying to make it look like a lakeshore version of Toronto. And Hamilton's one of the few cities that's along the water that doesn't have something like that set up. You'll see in the video, some of the areas are already built out. So they have some shops, like coffee shops, they have a marina, they have Bayfront Park, but it's not fully built out yet, even though there is a lot of signage and it's just signs for construction happening. Generally speaking, the area is older. You'll see some videos of the properties there, like the houses that currently exist there are crammed together. They're older, they're from like the early 1900s. And they're usually older two-story buildings with very low ceiling basements. And there are some buildings there as well that are like, 10 stories or more, but these are all older properties and they've been there for a long time. Now, in this area, if you're able to find like a decent sized lot, there's a lot of potential for development here because it's considered the downtown area. So the city's more likely to give out approvals. Like if you find a large lot, you can most likely divide it, do a severance, or even build out a subdivision if you have a big enough lot, because the city really likes this area and they want infill development happening here. So there's a lot of opportunities from that side. In terms of the values, now they're diverse because Hamilton is very diverse as it is. Like if you go a little east of the north end of the city, you get into some rough areas, but if you're within that small pocket, I'm going to show you that area, you can find properties like often priced between 500,000 to 700,000. If they're larger properties, they'll go for even more. And if they're waterfront, which there are some, they're gonna go $900, $1 million plus. And those usually don't even come up for sale, I'll be honest with you, because people that have the right properties in this area, they don't sell. And there's actually a lot of custom homes that are going up around this area. So if you're from outside of Hamilton, you're probably shocked because you're going to see some of the existing properties and you'll be like, why would people do that? And it's because it's within walking distance to all this great stuff, right? It's like 5 minutes away from downtown. It's walking distance to the waterfront. There's cafes there, so people know what's happening. It's been a slow but steady change. So yeah, you can find some decently priced properties here. The rental rates are very similar to the rest of the city. They might be a little bit less than, let's say, the Hamilton Mountain, because sometimes there's older properties, older units, and the demographic is a little different. There's not as many families, I would say, as some of the more suburban areas of Hamilton. There's more couples, more single people here living in like multi-residential properties. So you'll see like 3-bed units still going for like, $2,200, $2,300, and smaller 1-beds for like anywhere between $1,500 and upwards. So There's not like a huge price difference. That's just normal across the city because unless you're in a bad area, generally, you're always going to be paying a similar rental rate. And the only difference is if you're in a really nice area of the city where you might be paying like $100, $200 more, right? Compared to like an area like this, which I would say is like a B+ area. The thing to look out for here is really buying and holding. Like that's the strategy you want to practice here because this area is due for so much change. Like there's multiple developments happening with the Pier 8. It's within walking distance to the LRT. There's condo towers going up within like 5 to 10 minutes walking distance if you're living in the area. So if you can just find the right property that's feasible and just buy and hold, if you can find a multi-residential property, which there aren't a lot of, then you're gonna do great here. And I think even land banking, like buying land, holding on to it and developing it is an amazing strategy here because it's just gonna be very valuable. I've noticed that when I was putting offers in on this area with clients, any property that had a decent sized lot was scooped up in multiple offers. And even today, whenever something that's solid comes up, it goes pretty fast. So if you're an investor that's looking for a long-term investment or looking to buy and hold a property in Hamilton and you don't want to pay, let's say, like really high rates and you want to find something that's affordable, you can probably find that in this area. There's some smaller properties or even on bigger lots that have great potential, but a lot of people are not really focused on that because that's more so a development play. But if you're patient and you're looking to make money in the long run, I think it's a great option. So if you want to learn more about this area, download my guide down below. It's the Hamilton Investment Guide. It covers a lot of the different areas and the numbers across the city. And feel free to reach out to me. My contact info is down below as well. And if you need assistance getting into the Hamilton market or you're an investor that wants to learn some more, feel free to contact me. I'd be more than happy to help.